Here we are in Final Cut. You'll need to load up a library. A library is essentially the master file of a database which is going to contain things known as events and projects. You can also store keywords in there which will help you find files, multimedia, videos, audio based on those keywords that you assign if you're searching a lot of parameters. It's a very useful way to maintain a database of footage, and if you're not careful, there's a setting in there which automatically imports your footage directly into a library. You need to be aware of that because otherwise it's going to fill up your hard drive. Make sure you have that setting turned off. If you are going to work like that, it might be useful to store a library on an external drive. It's only usually common that people work in that way when they're working with other editors and maybe a colorist, and they're going to send the project as a packaged file on a hard drive and everything's included. So you want to create a library or add to a library, maybe create a new event depending on what cameras you've used, what time of day, things that are going to be helpful for you later on. Once you've created your event, before you create any projects, it's important that you bring all your assets for that project into one place. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go into the Finder, drag any assets, media files, audio that we're going to use in this project into one place, into what is known as our library on the left-hand side of the screen. If you've used multiple cameras and you're looking to sync up using the multicam clip feature, then what you'll want to do is highlight all of your footage from each camera, go to the information section in the inspector on the right-hand side of the screen, and then go to where it says camera name and make sure that you have a separate dedicated camera name for each camera that your footage was shot on. Otherwise, when you come to sync up your footage, you're going to find it's created a different angle for every single shot, and that's going to be an absolute nightmare for cutting. If there's any other metadata that you feel is relevant and that's going to help you out depending on the size or how quick you're planning to turn this project around, then feel free to get that done in the information section. But other than that, I think it's important we jump back over to the library and create a new project. So now you create your project, give it a title, make sure you set your resolution and your frame rate depending on what kind of aspect ratio you're going to set things, because it's quite critical that you set it now. It can be changed later, but it becomes quite difficult once you start bringing footage into your timeline. Also, when it asks you how it's going to render, and it gives you a bunch of options such as ProRes 422, ProRes 422 LT, ProRes 422 proxy. These are all types of codecs that it's going to use to create proxies or render files for your footage, which it will also store in the library. You can delete this in the file menu along the toolbar at the top if you go down and select delete library generated files. These will gradually build up depending on the size of your project, how much footage you import and how much you need to render in order to improve playback or exporting your project. To make cutting quicker, you can go through your library clip by clip and select regions that you're happy with. Use the I and O keys to select your in and out ranges between each clip and the up and down arrows to scroll through your clips. This can be a lot quicker when it comes to just dropping your footage in once you've assigned all of your regions in every clip and what clips you don't want to use. Using the Q, W and E keys, you can then use Q in order to add footage above the current timeline as a connected clip. You can use W as a way to cut in the selected clip, or you can use E to add it to the end of your current timeline. These are very quick ways in which you can build up your cuts and your edits, and depending on how you feel comfortable with using Final Cut Pro, that might be something you choose to do or not. Okay, so we've gone through some basic principles on how to get your footage into the editor and not cause a mess in the process. The next thing you'll probably want to do once you've got a basic edit is get the color correction in a good place. I've got another video which explains in more detail the process of color correction and color grading and how I apply it to my footage and how that may be able to help you. And I'm hoping to upload a video soon that goes into a bit more detail about how to get great looking footage. I hope this video has been useful and helpful to you. I plan to go into more detail in future videos, but like and subscribe for the time being, and I look forward to seeing you soon.